Thank you for coming out to our Coalition Connection Live today. The weather was a little funky this morning. We weren't sure how many people would be able to come through, but we're glad that you're all here. So the intention for today is to get information and to get any questions that you have answered as it relates to ARPA discretionary. And if you are experiencing any technical issues with WebAuthor or you'd like to actually start your application, there'll be time to do that. So I just want to talk a little bit about the order of the day and what it's going to look like. We're going to start off with slides that you may have seen before. So we're going to do a general coalition connection. We're going to hold all questions, right, until we get through the slides. We're going to take a little bit of a break. You are going to exit, and there's going to be some refreshments for you. We want you to enjoy that, network for a little bit, about 45 minutes. And the questions that you have, there are posters. And so we're going to ask you to put it under the initiative that you have a question about. So for example, if you want to hear more about Infant Toddler Initiative and you have a question that relates to that, you're going to write the question about Infant Toddler Initiative on the post-it that was on your chair, and you're going to post it. When we invite you back in, we'll have a whole panel that will answer those questions. So we're going to go through all of the questions on post-its first, and then if you have any general questions or something that comes up because there was a question, like you have another question off of a question that was answered, we're going to save those for the very end, right? So there'll be an opportunity for Q&A, and also if you don't want any Q&A, you've got it all figured out, that's perfectly fine. You can leave, right? Or you can actually start working on one of the applications that interest you for ARPA World Class, okay? Not World Class, discretionary. I'm sorry. Yep, so if you have any questions that come up as we go through all of the initiatives, we ask that you hold your questions and write your question on the post-it. We're going to exit after we've been through all the PowerPoint slides, and against the wall, all of the initiatives are listed. You will put your question under the initiative that you have a question about, right? Then there'll be refreshments. You'll have those refreshments. We will collect all of the questions and then answer them by all of the lovely people sitting here on the panel. Okay, so restrooms, if you haven't been here before, we have restrooms down the hall. Typically you have to get the bathroom pass. It's actually open today. So we ask that you exit here at my left. You go out, you use the restroom, you will need the code. The codes are listed on the door, they're everywhere. And then you can re-enter without using the badge that you typically have to use when you come back in. Also, there's a postcard on everyone's chair. If you have someone that wasn't able to come today for whatever reason, they couldn't make it, they're in bed, they're at yoga, they're at Publix, going shopping, whatever it is that they're doing, we just ask that you share it with someone, right? Because this is really good information, and we had to apply for this money, right? We weren't just given this money for you all, right? We had to apply. There was a whole grant application we had to get approved, just similar to what you all are doing, right? We had to submit it. We had to answer questions. We don't want to return any of this money. We want to spend the money, because what happens, especially when you're talking about federal and state funds, the first thing they want to know is how much of it did you spend? And if we don't spend all of it, the next opportunity, we might not have it again. This is directly for you. None of our staff members get any of it. We don't get a cut. This money is for you. So please share it with your teachers, right? Because most of you are owners and directors in here, and the information just doesn't seem to trickle down sometimes. So please share it with them. There are so many opportunities for them to get money, and we don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't know if these dollars are going to be available next year. So we want to spend it all up so there's nothing left. So when we apply for another grant, if something happens in the next year or two, we don't want them to say, you know what, Hillsborough ELC doesn't need it because they don't spend it. So this is your opportunity to get all of your questions answered, and we're going to go ahead and begin. Okay. All righty, you can spend it all. All righty. All right. Who's first?
Put my eyeballs on it so I can see.
You gotta find the button at the bottom.
Oh, yep, there we go. I see it. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Casey. I'm the new director of provider supports. I've met some of you, but I haven't met a lot of you. So just introduce myself. Thank you guys so much for being here. As Stacy said, I just have 2 real quick slides. I'm over the screening and support team as well. So for the team that comes out and may give you behavioral support assistance, as well as the team that does the ASQ reviews and reaches out and does the different screenings with your children that may have some additional needs. So my 2 slides are in regards to that, to the inclusion aspect of what we're doing. The NTI conference is going to be in April here in Tampa. If you have already signed up and paid for this conference, we are going to reimburse you for that. So we want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, take advantage of that. That was a couple bucks, so you guys want to be able to get reimbursed for that. The emails on here will give you, one's mine and one is Marcy. I'm sure plenty of you guys know who Marcy is. So if you have any questions, please let us know. But we're going to post a link to a WebAuthor form at the beginning of February, so you guys can register for that to get reimbursed for that. Okay? We are also going to be hosting several different trainings that are in the realm of social, emotional, developmental delays, and challenging behaviors through the next couple months. Just want everybody to keep an eye out for the link and the information for those trainings. I have a couple of those listed here. Some of the trainings you're going to be eligible for stipends for. Those trainings are going to be, some are going to be virtual, some are going to be in person, and some are also self-paced. So as we go through, we'll get you some more information on that. All of these, the trainings and the stipends, are based on funding. So as soon as the information comes out, make sure that you're letting us know that you're interested. We're going to send out a link that says, hey, are you interested in any of these trainings or this type of training? And if you could let us know. And then once those trainings are done and you have the certificates and been able to complete everything, then we'll activate the stipend request so that you guys can get the stipends that are available for completing those trainings. Okay, and just so everybody knows, we are going to be sending out this PowerPoint in the next couple days, so you don't have to try to take pictures if you want to, of course, but you don't have to, because we're going to send you all of this information too. Okay, thank you guys.
Great, so I'm Lisette Godwin, which most of you probably have already met, and I'm going to pick up on some things that we are continuing that we had last year. So upon popular request, CPR, first aid, and fire extinguisher training continues here at the ELC, with an added bonus that if you have at least 10, minimum 10 staff members, and you would like to host it at your own site, we will facilitate that for you through Nelson. You just have to let us know, and he can try and get it into your calendars. I would suggest having 15 because, you know, life happens and you might get RSV and the flu simultaneously like my mom did. Woo! And some other people. It's going around fast and furious right now. Or your car breaks down or whatever, right? Life happens. So if you have a few more people just to make sure you have that minimum 10, even better. The dates are up there currently for English and the Spanish ones that will be held here at the ELC. And it's still $15 per person, which is a really good deal. So we're going to continue that on this year, and hopefully we'll be able to continue that on forever. All right, achievement bonuses, also backed by popular demand. And it was a slow go. A lot of you took trainings in July, and we had to like backdate it and get those to you. But achievement bonuses are here at least until June 30th. So if you have taken a training out of our Talent LMS, and it is applicable to an achievement bonus, and you know they all vary depending how long the trainings are, and you have completed that training with fidelity and gotten a passing score on all the things, you will be eligible for those achievement bonuses. When you complete it and you receive the email saying, congratulations, you are eligible for an achievement bonus, please, please, please make sure that you return that application requesting your funds by that due date, okay? So that we can make sure that we get that money to you. Child care employees in Hillsborough County. So if you're a business and you have centers in multiple counties, only your employees who are in your Hillsborough County site are eligible for these achievement bonuses. ESOL courses for the community. This is new. And it's been something for a few years that providers have asked us for your Spanish speaking staff. So this is going to be English for speakers of other languages. There's going to be 3 cohorts. 2 of them are basic day-to-day, communication, learning the basics of English. And the third one's a little bit more advanced for handling banking and things like that. But if you have staff that you would really like to send to learn a little bit more on English proficiency, we are going to be offering these ESOL cohorts to the community. It is open to families, teachers, directors, owners. You will sign up, or your staff will sign up through our Talent LMS for these courses. They are 12 weeks and they involve 24 hours total of instruction. Again, the first 2 cohorts are basic living courses, with the intermediate one being the 3rd cohort. Seating is limited. They can only take 20 per cohort. All right. So if you see these dates and you have staff, get it out to them fast, because seating is limited. They are virtual and in person, and the first cohorts are open for registration now. They will also be eligible for a stipend upon completion of all of the sessions. So here are the 3 cohorts. Cohort 1, basic living, is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 to 7:30, virtual on Canvas. And those are the dates, so make sure that they are available for all of those dates. Cohort, and it begins, Tuesday. Next Tuesday, as a matter of fact. Cohort 2.
That one's almost full too, so.
That one's almost full. So if you have a phone number to tell them, you can send it to them tonight, or right now even. Cohort 2 is on Wednesdays, and it begins next Wednesday. Wow, these are fast and furious.
But they're almost filled.
And that one's almost full too. So, bottom line, take a picture, send it to your staff. And then cohort 3, which is the intermediate, is on Saturdays from 9 to 11, and it begins on the 13th. Also almost full?
No, that one has a little bit more space.
Your intermediate learners have more space. Okay. Miss Theon.
Thank you, Lisette. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Theon Sally, and I am the Infant Toddler Coordinator here at the ELC. And I am working with the coalition in implementing the Infant Toddler expansion. It is an ancillary program, part of the Hillsborough Infant Toddler Initiative, that is only being funded by the Opera Discretionary Fund. So this part of the Infant Toddler Initiative will only run through June 30th of this year. So what the expansion is seeking to do is to encourage providers which are center-based. So if you are a family child care home provider, those programs do not qualify for this grant or incentive. So what we're looking to do is to encourage center-based programs to increase their infant toddler into classrooms. And so what we want to do is we are offering this opportunity to both contracted and non-contracted programs in the county. So if sites have a school readiness contract, or if they don't, they still are eligible to qualify. So what we want to do is to make sure that the spaces that these new providers are opening are safe and appropriate for children. If necessary, we will require some type of DCF review for someone from licensing to come to make sure that the space is safe and appropriate for children based on the designated age group for that classroom that's being opened. Even if it's infants 1s or 2s, we want to make sure that those areas and spaces are appropriate. We also want to make sure that it does not exceed your license capacity. Or if you are seeking to increase your enrollment by opening up a flex space. What we mean by flex space, it could be a break room, a room that you've never opened or used as a preschool space before, and those rooms were not counted, or that square footage was not counted in the square footage on your license. So therefore, you would need licensing to come back out to assess that space, and if you plan to open it and they approve it, your license has to be resubmitted to you with that square footage in there. And so that's what some people are thinking, that you have to have licensing come out. No, you don't. But if it's a new space that was not licensed in your square footage before, licensing will have to come back out. Okay, so what we also want to do is we want to incentivize programs. This grant does not pay for the construction of the classrooms or buildings or any of that type of thing. It is incentive based, which means that we're going to incentivize those centers for opening that classroom or those classrooms by awarding them $15,000 for opening up the rooms. Okay, so it's not that you're getting the money to open them, and as part of the review process, we will come out to the program. We will see either space before or after. We give you the opportunity to even do your application, and then you can also get the ball rolling within the time frame, as long as you get those classrooms up and operating with a staff assigned to the room, the children enrolled in the room. We are not assigning or approving incentives for providers with an empty classroom. The classroom has to be set up with a teacher and children enrolled in the room. Okay? So our application started back in November. We were currently accepting applications now. We will continue through through March. So what we want to do is give people the opportunity, or programs the opportunity to submit their applications, get everything you need from licensing, get all those what the new rooms approved before the deadline for these for the incentive to be over. So I hope that clarifies what the infant toddler expansion is all about. If you have questions, please, like Stacy said, write them on your Post-it notes, and I will be happy to answer them later. Thank you. Which button? The far right?
The bottom, yeah, I got it.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole. Some of you know me as Nikki Gonzalez. I do a bunch of different projects and initiatives here with the Early Learning Coalition. The first grant opportunity we're going to talk about is Literacy All Year. This grant actually has already closed, but if you have already applied for this, we're going to give you that information, okay? This is for teachers or centers that are looking to expand that for your children who are either in VPK or your 3 and 4 years old, okay? You see a list of different opportunities that you're able to get. You are able to get classroom materials, student home libraries, as well as tablets for them with Mion based. We're creating partnerships with neighborhood schools so that transition from VPK 3-year-old rooms to kindergarten isn't that scary, okay? Backpacks, we are also including stipends. So right now, the applications, like you can see, they have closed, so we are processing through those, okay? The requirements for these are if you have a class composite score below a 4.5 and you are located in one of those zip codes that are listed. The next grant is the Transcript and Diploma Translation and Evaluation Services. These are for if you have teachers who have received their diploma from a different country, it's in a different language, and they would like those translated into English so that they can continue their school career, right? This service, we're providing this service for them. What it is it's a reimbursement, okay? So what they would need to do is those documents, the transcripts, the diplomas, whatnot, would need to be taken to an agency that is an approved agency, that is a list that's provided on our website. You would go through, have those services done, and we will reimburse you for those services, for that translation services. That application has opened. Sorry, we don't have that on there, but the application is open, and I believe it will be open until May 31st, okay? There is a specific amount of time that you have to have this service done in order to be eligible, okay? I believe that is March 29th, 2023 to May 31st, 2024. If you have a teacher who's already had these done, this Translated outside of those times, unfortunately, we won't be able to reimburse them for that. Okay? Next, this is our Child Care Business Management Software Initiative. This is for programs who have purchased management software for their programs reimbursement for cost. These include ProCare, Brightwheel, formerly it's, I think, Lilio, it's formerly Hi Mama, Family Sandbox, etc. This is only for centers at this time, but it does apply to contracted and non-contracted centers. All right. If you are purchasing, or if you have purchased this software within that time period, you are eligible for reimbursement on that as well. Okay. Oh, and the maximum is $2,500 for that grant. Provider health care cost assistance. So what we're doing is we're providing a stipend for teachers. Okay, I'm sorry, no, this is for providers, sorry, because we have two and I don't want to tell you the wrong one. So this is for the centers, or if you are a center and you have employees and you pay for insurance for them, you are able to be reimbursed. Your center, or your business is able to be reimbursed. Okay. If you have 5 or more, 5 to 10, you can see that it's a tiered schedule. If you have less than 5 employees, unfortunately, you will not qualify for this grant. So you must have at least 5 employees working with you and 5 employees who are on benefits. Okay. As you can see, it's tiered: 5 to 10, 11 to 25, 26 to 50, and 51 and up. This is for contracted and non-contracted providers in Hillsborough County. So you must be within that Hillsborough County. Cannot be under investigation for fraud or on the disqualified list. Must have a minimum of 5 employees. Must submit that evidence of health insurance benefits for employees. And that W-9 that is submitted must have your EIN, because it's for your center. Okay, so not your personal one, but the one that is for your center. It should have your employee identification number on it. Outdoor gardens. So this mini grant is a one-time payment not to exceed $1,000. It is for support in nature play. It assists with materials such as plants, seeds, gardening materials, soil, potting containers, and so on and so forth. Items must be approved before purchase. So the application will go, you go in, you put in your application, and it will walk you through that process. You put in a cart. If it's approved, then you can go on ahead, start making those purchases, and do your reimbursement. All right. We do require before and after photos, and that will be within that application. As you go through, you'll see it walk you step by step. This grant will open Monday. So you won't see it on our website this weekend, but on Monday it should open up to you where you see the rest of the grants, okay? It goes until March 8th, and your before and after photos are due by May 31st.
My name is Shayna. I work with Family Services, so I'm not usually on this side of things, but we have so many initiatives that they've asked for help from other departments, so I'm happy to be here. Now, we just went over the healthcare stipend for your actual program or your center if you're offering the healthcare benefits. Now, this stipend is going to be for individual employees of early child care centers in Hillsborough County. So it can be a contracted or non-contracted center. And it's a stipend to assist with the rising medical costs in Hillsborough County. It's a one-time payment of $2,000 if you're approved. Early childhood educators may apply for the stipend to assist. It can be anyone from a teacher, assistant teacher, janitor staff, kitchen staff, anyone who's employed by an early education facility in this county. Currently, the applications are open. They'll be open until either May 31st at midnight or until the funding has been depleted in this area. So in order to be eligible for this stipend, you just have to submit a couple of different documents. So of course you do have to be employed by a child care facility, so we'll just need some proof of that. You can either submit a pay stub, or if you don't receive a pay stub because you're the owner or director, you can also submit your reimbursement proof from school readiness if you receive that from us. The second thing is going to be proof of healthcare coverage. So you can submit proof from the last 30 days that you have paid for healthcare benefits. So this can be from your pay stub if it's coming from your employer and it's a benefit you pay for through your pay stubs, or if you're paying for healthcare separately or individually, then you can also submit proof of coverage that way. So we are including anyone who is on like a spouse's policy, or if you're a dependent, you're a young adult and you're on your parents' policy and you are still employed by the early education facility, then you still qualify. We just need to see your information on that proof of coverage. Now, other forms of proof of coverage, we've been getting 1095 forms. I just want to note we cannot accept 2022 1095 forms for proof of payment for health insurance. So within the next couple of weeks or so, you should start to receive your 1095 for 2023, and that we can accept. Other than that, like I said, pay stub or a screenshot of a recent payment. We also need proof of your current background screening, and then a current W-9 with the name that you use to file your taxes. And please make sure that your social security number is on that W-9, not your EIN. And again, it's just a one-time stipend if you're approved of $2,000.
Hello, everybody. My name is Monica Sellery. I'm the Manager of Education and Policy. The next initiative is the accreditation fee reimbursement. This is for providers who are going through the various stages of accreditation. You must use a Gold Seal Accrediting Association to be eligible for this as well. This does require an initial application. And it can be used for accreditation renewals, which is great if you're already accredited or if you're in the process of it. So it covers those various stages. A portion of accreditation application fees will be reimbursed as follows. So as you can see, it's kind of tiered there. So you can see how we've split up the various stages of the accreditation process. The initial application is up to $300. The self-study is up to $600. The site visit is up to $1,000. And any renewals or maintenance fees are up to $900. So it really just depends on which accreditor you use and what their fees are, but that's the max that we'll do for each of those stages. Eligibility requirements for this one is it is open to contracted and non-contracted providers. You must be a minimum of 1 year operating as a licensed early childhood provider. We need proof of current stage, payment made, which needs to be dated between July 1, 2023 and March 29th, 2024. And the applications are currently open for this, and they will be closing on Friday, March 29th, 2024 at 11:59. And this applies for all of our grants, but the applications for all of our initiatives will be open until funding is depleted. Outdoor safety. So this is another mini grant of up to $2,000, and it's for programs that need additional layers of security, specifically for the exterior or outdoors of their buildings. And there are 4 categories. So we've got the security cameras and systems, exterior door locks that can be keyless or manual, outdoor safety lighting, and safety bollards. And the safety bollards are what kind of prevents like cars. They're like, you see them in front of Target sometimes. That's an example. So if you're requiring that, if you have a large parking space, those can be really helpful for safety. The requirements for this mini grant, you can be contracted or non-contracted as long as you're licensed in Hillsborough County. You cannot have a contract with the ELC that was terminated or eligibility revoked in the last 5 years. Cannot be under investigation or convicted of child care fraud. Cannot be on the USDA disqualified list. We just need a current W-9 form for the facility. So that's the one for your program, not the separate provider one. I'm sorry, individual one. And only itemized sales receipts dated between November 3rd, 2023 and March 11th, 2024, which show the total amount of the purchase will be accepted. Invoices, cash receipts, and handwritten receipts will not be accepted. So for this one in particular too, it's a reimbursement. So if you have questions about, is this an eligible cost? I'm not sure, just send us an email to grants@elchc.org, and we will happily take a look at what your questions are and let you know. And then that way you can purchase with confidence and then receive the reimbursement, okay? The next one is our playground and outdoor gross motor equipment. I know that a lot of you are probably here to learn a little bit more about this one. We're really excited about this initiative. The summary that we've provided is, we really want to make sure that this is focused on quality and giving our providers and children access to high quality gross motor equipment for the outdoor space. There are a lot of eligibility requirements for this. It is a very comprehensive initiative. We've separated it into 3 different phases. That first phase is the completion of a required training in our learning management system. The training is comprehensive. You have to receive a 90% or higher in order to pass the training. You do have 3 chances, 3 takes, we'll say, to take the assessment as well. And all of the materials are downloadable. You can use them during your assessment, so it's all there for you. There's a lot of really great information. We were able to partner with the Department of DCF and record them sharing licensing requirements, which was something that we were really hoping that we could accomplish, and we did. So it's really great information about what the requirements are for licensing, and also what the requirements are for the remaining phases of the application. So that first phase is the training, which you have to have the certificate of completion in order to go on to phase 2. Another thing about that training, because it is 3 chances, it's cumulative 3 chances. So that means that we do have it available in English and in Spanish. So if you exhaust the 3 attempts in one of the courses, we will not be able to give you credit if you pass after 3 attempts, whether it's in English or Spanish. Okay, and that goes for duplicate accounts as well. So I just want to give that information up front. We haven't really seen this much in the registration thus far, but I just wanted to make sure that was clarified. So the eligibility requirements for this, I'll continue, are you have to be an owner or director of a licensed child care center or family child care home in Hillsborough County. You can be contracted or non-contracted. You must serve ages 0 through 5, not including school age programs. You cannot have a contract with the ELCHC that was terminated or eligibility revoked within the past 5 years. Cannot be under investigation or convicted of child care fraud. Cannot be on the USDA qualified list. And I've already covered the expectation or the requirement with the training. And then lastly, we are asking for submitting the W-9 form information. And again, this is for your program, so it's going to have that EIN number instead of the Social Security number. There are additional requirements that are listed in the training that will cover all of the different documents that you need to submit. It's just a lot to put on one page here, but that's the eligibility to just apply for the grant. So phase 2 of the grant, you can see, is the budget approval for funds disbursement. So that's where we're asking you to submit your before pictures, your pictures of the materials or pictures or quotes of the playground that you're looking to install. All of that information we gather up front so that we're able to kind of give feedback or give suggestions or make tweaks based on that submission. Once we are able to approve that budget phase in phase 2, you'll receive your funds. You will purchase your items and have them installed. So the phase 2 of that application closes on March 1st, 2024. And then phase 3, and that's just that last documentation upload. So now we're asking for the after pictures and also just the receipts, which will be those itemized receipts, just like the other initiatives require as well. And those need to be uploaded by June 14th. At 11:59. That also means that the installation, because we are requiring those after pictures, have to be uploaded by, have to be completed by then too. So just keep that in mind when you're talking to, if you're going to use a like a playground professional thing, people like Playground King, there's other local providers. Just making sure that they have the ability to get it installed before that date is definitely critical to being able to meet the expectations in the this particular grant. We just put a note on the bottom that the LMS course and application launch dates are subject to change. It's already launched. If we make any adjustments, we will always let you know. We'll push it through, but right now it's open and available. And we'll take questions at the end of the presentation. No, this is all of the phases for this one. There's a phase 1, which is the training, and the phase 2 is the budget approval process. So you have to submit all of those, the requests up front before you can receive the funding. Okay. Lastly, here we have the allowable costs and permit expenses. We've gotten a couple of questions on this, so we wanted to just provide you with a little bit of clarity. And again, if you have any questions based on these slides, just write them down and we'll make sure that we tackle them during the panel discussion in a little bit. So if a permit is required for any of the proposed installations, you are required to upload a copy of the permit receipt. And this is specifically for the playground grant to verify that the required permit has been purchased. However, we cannot reimburse the cost of any permits at all. So that is a cost that would have to be, something that you do up front. And we just need the receipt so that we can verify that the permits have been accessed. So when it comes to seeking out permit approval, that is something that you will have to do with the county. But again, in the course that we provide for the training, it gives you where to go and how to make that happen. And then lastly, per the Department of Early Learning, which as Stacy described, they are the people that the organization that we reached out and filled out the application for to receive these funds. So we have parameters as well that we need to follow. So per the Department of Early Learning, the sub-grant funds, so in this case, it's the ARPA discretionary funds, may not be used for major building or facility renovations, modifications, or additions. The keyword there being major. Minor building or facility adjustments are allowed. However, if a permit is required and it is not obtained, the cost will not be allowed. So what that means is, especially let's say for the playground grant, if you're seeking a playground and it does require a permit, but you do not ask and get that permit, then those costs are not allowable. Okay, so definitely making sure that you're reaching out to the county. The county is aware that this initiative is happening. Like I said, we've partnered with DCF as well, so they are aware of it. So we're really trying to loop in all of our partners here so that we can all be very supportive to you as much as we can. So just making sure that you're checking on that. And then lastly, the bullet 3 here is the allowable facility maintenance, improvement, and remodeling may include, but are not limited to, building or updating playgrounds, renovating bathrooms, installing railing, ramps, or automatic doors, and removing non-load bearing walls to create additional space. Now, this is the general language that was provided from the DEL. Obviously, for the playground grant in particular, we're focusing on that bit that says updating playgrounds. When it comes to renovating bathrooms and the rest, if it's not pertinent or within the guidelines of any of the other initiatives, then obviously it's not an allowable expense. This is just the language that was provided from the DEL so that we could share it with you so you kind of understand when we say we can pay for certain things with permits, this is a little bit more clarity, okay?
I'm Sabrina Ruiz. I'm the Director of Family Services, and a lot of the next 3 initiatives that we're going to talk about have a lot to do with the families, and what we are asking is for your help in promoting some of this to the families that you touch every single day. So this first one, it actually will benefit the families, but it benefits you as well. It's our ELC Sunshine Scholars Initiative. This is going to come in the form of voucher payments to you for your spring break costs and for summer costs through June 30th. So from that last day of school, is it May 25th or 26th this year in Hillsborough County? So any program costs that you have that you will incur during those break periods, we want to offer vouchers to be paid out to you. It is going to be an application through WebAuthor. You are going to outline what the activities you have planned, the cost per child, how many children and the age groups that you're going to be running your programs. And a lot of this comes from during spring break and during summer, some of our field trips that you might want to have. We want to make sure that that's covered. We also wanted to assist parents and your programmatic fees, because we know sometimes during this time, your fees might change. They might be a little bit higher depending on, what you all have going on. So we want all of that outlined in the application. We want to know how much it's going to cost per child. We do want to take care of co-payments for your SR families. But if you have non-SR families, we want to take care of their fees during those windows of time. Okay. Applications are going to be approved in the order of completeness on a first come first served basis. So if we have to reject for anything, remember it goes back to the bottom of that list. So make sure that you're doing a really good job in completing your applications the first time around, so that we don't have to bump you back down for a correction or an additional piece of information that you may have missed. Unallowable costs, we're going to include that in there so that you know what's allowable, what's not allowed. Unused funds. Let's say your program budget for any of these break periods, you want to allocate for 25 children. Then you go ahead and do it, and only 22 showed up or 20 kids showed up. The extra money, we don't want it back. Okay, what we're going to offer is a suggested list of how to use the additional available funds that you didn't spend, let's say, on, admission to Glacier or admission to the zoo. Whatever you didn't spend, we're going to send you a suggested resource list of what you can do with that money to benefit the children at your site. Okay. You're going to email any questions you have to Naomi Hernandez. She's one of my coordinators, and she is fielding all of this. She was here in the morning for our Spanish session, and so application dates for spring break starting on January 9th. So this upcoming week, that spring break application is going to be open. So the quicker you do it, and remember, all of these initiatives have a dollar amount. So when that money runs out, the money runs out. So get those applications in as quickly as you can. And there's the window for summer break, January 9th through March 9th. So we want to get through, let's say you don't do a spring camp and you just want to go ahead and submit your summer one in advance. You can do that. You're going to have access to do that on WebAuthor, but just know we're not reviewing summer until we're done with spring break. Okay. All right. Let's see, I got one more. Am I supposed to have an arrow? There we go. Okay, this one, the Home and Child Care Stability Initiative, this is more of awareness for you. So this one comes with a part 1 and a part 2. The first one is differential costs. So any of our children that are coded BG1 homeless, that attend your center, we want to go ahead and cover their differential costs backdated to July 1, 2023. And so, and it's going to end on June 30th when these funds run out. So some of you, depending on the children you have enrolled, may have received some sort of an additional check. And I just heard in the last session that if you did receive those funds, you may not even know what they were for. And so go into WebAuthor, and if you see that letter that talks about this initiative, it will clearly outline who the children are that this should be paying the differential costs for. We included a letter for you all in WebAuthor, along with a sample parent letter if you want to let the parents know why they're not being charged any differentials, and just let them know that this initiative is going to cover them, backdated to July 1 to June 30th of 2024. The second part of the Home and Child Care Stability Initiative is a workforce initiative. Again, this is mostly awareness for you. We actually are in the process of releasing a grant to local agencies that work with homeless or housing instability clients. And so what they're going to do is they're going to apply for these grants, and these grants are to help initiate more personnel for child care centers, right? And so they're already working with clients. It's going to be a workforce initiative. This grant is going to cover the screening, the training for them, and it's going to cover if these participants secure a job at any of our facilities, at any child care center, it covers their salary also. So the benefit to you all could be that if you hire someone all the way through June 30th, their salary will be covered. So you get that employee. And after that, if you want to keep them, you can. If not, they've got good work experience and they add it to their resume and they're even more employable. So is that a good thing? I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's just an idea that we had. So. All right.
You're like, wait, you're paying their salary? What?
Yes, yes. One thing I will say about this is yeah. One thing I will say about this is that, you know, if you have vacancies at your center, make sure, are we still doing our job board with vacancies?
Yes.
And make sure that those are nice and up to date, because that's going to be the first place we look before we send them to like Indeed or, you know, all those other job search areas. We're going to send them to our job board first so that we can fill the vacancies that we have. Oh, I'm sorry. Make sure that you have your vacancies, like if you have positions available at your sites and at your centers or at your home, make sure you have it updated on the ELC job board, right? So that, and if you don't know how to access that, I can have Sinaida maybe help them.
After the break, we can probably pull it up and show them where it's at, like we did with the web author.
Perfect. Okay, cool. I have the contacts for that, but again, remember this was mostly just for your knowledge. You're not applying specifically for any of the things on this screen. You just will be benefiting from them, okay, as well as your families. All right, that's all I have, and I think I'm gonna pass it over to the very popular Miss Kenya.
Happy Saturday, everybody. So this initiative is for family training. So we will have, is it Bertelsen? So we'll have Bertelsen Education. They have a mobile app that will supply some of these trainings for our families, and then limited for 6 months subscriptions with our special sign-up code, and it will be offered in English and Spanish. And the space will be limited for our in-person trainings as well with Bright Ideal Consulting. We'll have in-person and virtual trainings and offered in the evening. And completion with these trainings, the families will receive a stipend and additional resources, of course, a completion of the series. And this will be available to our families January 12th, and then we'll have additional sign-up trainings through WebAuthor available in February. But with these sign-ups and with WebAuthor and also signing up for the actual trainings, we want the families to do this, not the provider. So the families will do their WebAuthor application and also their registration for the trainings. So we'll need your help to get this initiative out there, let our families know that we're offering this. And you can email all your questions to either me or Dorothy. She's my co-lead. We call her Dottie. So.
And just a few more things on family engagement training. So we really try to think with this initiative, keeping the parents in mind. Some of them may benefit from a mobile app, right? If they're young, like my sister is, with her 2-year-old, everything is all tech. Some parents may benefit more from being in person and doing some training and some behavior management with their child there and being coached. And then some virtual setting,
right? It could be after they tuck the kids in bed and now they have time to sit for a session with a live coach or teacher. So we thought about the different ways that families can benefit from it. They don't have to choose all of them. It's going to be a menu approach for our families to choose, but we're hoping that it really does help. A question we got in the last session that I just want to answer here, some of our providers asked if they could also sign up for some of the parenting engagement trainings or for the app, and the answer is absolutely yes. You probably, many of the morning session crew had their own like personal web author, so you want to use your personal one as a caretaker and parent, not your business web author sign in. So if you have to create another one with your personal, we just want this to be audited. It's not that it paid for any of us as staff or any of you all as center directors, owners. We want it to be directly tied to the children that we're taking care of, which we all have some personal ones probably. So, so yes, the answer is yes. You can also take advantage of these.
And it also came up in the community needs assessment conducted by the Children's Board. Families are asking for this training, so please make sure that you spread the word to them.
All right, it's me again to close us out here. The last one is the Family Home Learning. It's an online subscription for families and also technology to go along with it. This is another one kind of on brand with what you were just saying. It's for our families to apply to. We are still working out some details this last week with the vendor that was selected, but this is specifically geared towards our target group is our active school readiness, specifically 4 and 5-year-olds, active voluntary pre-kindergarten or the VPK, current I Spy participant, or current on my way to kindergarten participant. These are for 5-year-olds, it should say 4 and 5-year-olds at the time of application, and they must not have yet entered kindergarten and or have a birthday after September 1st. We're really trying to target our contracted sites. There's a proposed limit of 3 devices per household, and we will give more information about this once we confirm exactly what the devices are based on the conversation with the vendor. But again, this is for our families to complete, but we wanted to provide you with the information so that when we have that flyer and all of the details ironed out, we'll send it your way. Specifically, provider notes will be a great resource for not just this one, but really all things grants. So if you're not signed up for provider notes, definitely take some time to do that on our website today too. But this is a great opportunity. I do know that the online subscription is for ABC Mouse. So if you're familiar with that program, that is going to be the Family Home Learning subscription available for a year. And then just closing us out, staying up to date. So make sure to read the vendor note emails that are usually sent on Mondays. Is that the provider notes? Yep. That's provider notes? Okay. We have webinars such as this one will turn into an online one as well. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're constantly posting information. I would recommend having encouraging parents too and families to sign up and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, especially for the family initiatives. We're going to be pushing a lot of information out. Opt into our text messages from the coalition. So if you've ever received a text message from us and you've opted out, that actually is for everything that we send. So definitely, like, it's not just for the one initiative that they sent it on, it's for all things. So please try not to do that.
And if you did by accident, just email somebody.
Yeah, the grants at ELCA. Yeah, if you know that you opted out of it and you want to like opt back in, just email us and we'll get you back on at the grants email. And share the information far and wide. Like Stacy said, we really don't want to give any of this money back to the state. We really want to make sure that it goes to you all. That's super important for us. It's what we're constantly talking about. How do we get this in your hands, right? So we're really excited about these initiatives, and we're really looking forward to the questions that you might have. Is there anything else we want to add before we break? Okay. So yeah, just to reiterate though, for what Stacy had said. The questions outside against the wall, you'll see the different initiatives. Wherever your question fits, just post it on that underneath that initiative. We've got some refreshments outside, and then we'll reconvene momentarily.